Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to parent objects to each other and how to create the robotic arm. So I will start by deleting this cube. I will go to front view and let me do the key toggles right here. Okay, so I will add a cylinder and I'm going to scale it down a bit and then scale it on the z-axis to make it longer. I'm going to smooth it, and as I explained to you before, every object has a pivot point that makes it rotate around it. For example, this cube here. So if I want this object to rotate in a different way, then I should move this pivot point to another place. For example, with this cylinder, I'm going to move the pivot point to the end so I can make it rotate differently. The way I do it is by going to edit mode, select everything, and just move the object and try to position the pivot point where you want it. Okay, sorry about this. So now going back to object mode, I will select this cylinder. I'm going to hit Shift D and move it on the x-axis just to the side. And if I want to parent this cylinder to the first cylinder, then this is going to be the child, because it's going to be following the parent, and this is going to be the parent. So everything the parent do, the child will do, and if the child does something, the parent will not change. So the way to do it is to first select the child, the one that we want to follow, and then shift select the parent. And now by hitting Control P, you can select object, and if I rotate this now, see it, the child is following. Of course, this doesn't mean that I can't change the location of this cylinder anymore. No, I can just, select another position, and see here it's still following. Okay, so let's use this to create a robotic arm. I'm going to delete this guy for now and reselect the original. I will need 3 cylinders, so Shift D, X1, Shift D, X, and this is the second one. I will now also need 3 spheres, so I will create some. So Shift A, UV sphere. I'm going to bring it up. The camera's on the way. I'm going to take it away. So I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to smooth it and scale it down. Position it right here. And this sphere will act as the joint between the cylinders. I will select the second cylinder and I will position it on top of this one. Let me go to wireframe mode, maybe here to the center of the sphere. And now if I rotate it, see, it's rotating well. I'll select the sphere and Shift D and create another one. Maybe put it right here. We'll select the other cylinder and grab it, and again position it right at the center of the sphere, right here. Good. and then if I rotate it, will rotate like so. I will duplicate this sphere again and try to position it right here maybe. And now I have the structure of the robotic arm. What I need to do is to create a claw, which is going to be super easy. I'm just going to click here somewhere, Shift A, and create a cube. And I will go to Edit Mode, Wireframe Mode, hitting Z, and then we'll select maybe these, and then select these like so. It looks a bit short, so I'm gonna make it longer. And don't forget the pivot point. I want this claw to rotate around this angle right here. Okay, let's look at it from the top. Looks a bit wide. I'm gonna scale it on the y-axis like so. And now I'm gonna duplicate this, so Shift D, Z to keep the position on the x-axis, and then I'm gonna rotate it on the x-axis 180 degrees, so RX 180. There we go, and put them together like this. Okay. Now I will select both claws and position them right here. Make sure to check the position on the top view, see if you are positioning it correctly. It looks nice so far. So now I'm going to parent these objects to each other. So the claw will follow this sphere, so I'm going to select the claw first, and then the sphere, Control P, object, and then I will select the other piece of the claw, select the sphere, Control P, object. Now I will select the sphere and then select the cylinder, Control P, object. I want this cylinder to follow this sphere, so I'm going to select this cylinder and then select the sphere, Control P, object. I will select this sphere since I want it to follow this cylinder, and select the cylinder, object, and so on and so on until we get to the first cylinder. Now, if I select this sphere and rotate it, or this one, as you can see now, it's rotating beautifully. Okay. If this is a crane, then I don't want this first cylinder to rotate around. I just want it to rotate on the z-axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit N to open this dialog and go to transform, and look where it says rotation, and in front of each of these values or channels there is a lock. So meaning I can lock the rotation of this cylinder. I don't want it to rotate on the x-axis or on the y-axis, so I'm going to lock these locks. I just keep it rotating on the z-axis. Now if I hit R, it will rotate rotate only on the z-axis, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to make this look fancier, so Shift A, I'm going to create a cube, maybe position it right here, scale it on the z-axis, like so, you know, just to make it look fancy. Shift C to bring the cursor back to the origin. Shift A, I'm going to create a plane and scale it up. And there we go. Now we have a nice robotic arm that we can move on, move around, and maybe give it some color later. And that's it. Okay, I hope that you find this useful. Email me or let me know if you have any more questions.